It was kind of like I'd been a werewolf my whole life, and then I saw my first full moon when I was 34.
Right.
I mean, that's what rock and roll was like for me. I went through a divorce, I lost all this weight, I was depressed, and my best friend was in Queens of the Stone Age. And he just was like, "You want to try something?" And I was like, "Sure,"
Yeah.
And then here I am. I woke up the next morning and I had a mustache and a cape and boots, and it was amazing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So did you ever turn back into the human, or have you been the werewolf ever since?
Oh, I've been the werewolf ever since.
Right. Working in tattoo shops since the late 90s, Eagles of Death Metal has definitely, been the background music for many an armband. Like if there was an emoji for rock and roll, it would be Jesse's face. He lives the life, and then the music is just this sort of byproduct of him being rock and roll. We started chatting on the phone about what he wanted to get tattooed. He started talking about this big life event, and like 89 of his friends were killed. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, like what?" And then he was like, "Well, in the Paris attack," and I didn't even put two and together that he was the one on stage for that. One thing that I've noticed is that, when Jesse talks about the attack, is really him just talking about like his friends. Like he really, his lived experience is that his dearest friends were killed. Not that like, oh, some people that bought tickets to my show, like truly like he communicates it as if like his childhood friend died.
And when I look around, only two words come to mind. Nos amis.
Dude, this place is awesome. Dude, thank you so much for having me, bro.
Dude, I'm honestly, like, I'm psyched to do it.
It was difficult for me to come up with an idea for a tattoo because...
Which, by the way, you don't have to, like...
I want one. No, but there's so many poignant things in my life, right now. It's different,
Yeah.
But my girl has been recovering from her near catastrophic asthma attack for 2 years. Unable to speak, walk. She's just beginning to, but she's my sleeping beauty.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be
That's a good one. Yeah.
Something like that. Whoa. Yes, my socks and my vest match.
That's amazing. Details. When you're 34, you turn into the werewolf. But is that when you started the band, when you were 34?
Eagles of Death Metal started before Queens of the Stone Age.
Got it.
If you want a little history. And I never was interested in it. I lost my virginity to my ex-wife. I was a very square kid.
Yeah.
And because my father was in a rock and roll band and I wasn't very pleased with him, I always thought it was folly. I always thought Joshua was made by God to lead people, you know what I mean? So when I went through my divorce, I really think Joshua's attitude was like, finally.
Yeah.
Now we can get this out of your system. And I wrote that first album, truly in a week and a half.
Wow.
It was like something ready to come out.
Yeah.
But I've always felt like it was what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
Getting to entertain my friends and entertain people is one of the greatest honors and one of the most lucky and luxurious lives that you could have. As you said, it's not a real job in a way.
Yeah.
Going into countries where people put their best foot forward and having someone adore you is the greatest thing that could ever happen.
Paris is something that, it's interesting because obviously it's a big part of like my awareness of you, but at the same time I was like, you must be so tired of people talking about, but
that's a fair thing to think, but I have to be. I'll tell you the truth, man. For me personally, my attitude has always been, from the beginning of my career in rock and roll, whenever anyone wanted to get an autograph, I was stoked.
Yeah.
So I made a commitment. I'm never going to look at it like it's my 100,000th. I'm going to look at it like it's their first time.
Yeah.
So I've shared in a lot of people's first times, and it's kind of given me a good attitude about it. But as it relates to Paris, I lived through that. I don't believe there's any accidents, and I don't have the right really to keep that to myself. It doesn't bother me. There's so much experience in there that could be useful to people. and it's part of my story. You know, even sometimes my manager's like, you know, we don't want to be defined by this, but defined by winning. I've never quit.
Yeah.
I've never stopped swinging my dick. You know what I mean? I saw beautiful things, and I think it's important too to let people know really what happened that night. And it's not on the terms of the bad guys.
Yeah.
It's on the terms of the good guys. I mean, I know this might sound weird, but it's probably been the single most incredible and enriching experience I've ever had in my life.